Hey everybody, welcome to Technically Unraveled. I'm Kristen Fehrenbach, back again this week. Super excited to have a special guest today. But first, as always, we want to go over some critical updates. First and foremost, let's talk about your co-op. So if you are a partner that currently has Microsoft co-op dollars, super important date coming up. Do not miss this. You might leave some money on the table if you do. So February 15th. Please make sure that you go into Partner Center, get all of your claims submitted. If you don't do it by this date, it's use it or lose it. So that money is gone forever. So please make sure February 15th, get that on the calendar. Make sure that you are making use of all of those marketing dollars that Microsoft is gifting you. Next, we've had so much stuff going on this week. It's been wild. So last week, we talked about Bamboom with Matt Batterby. And if you've not gone through and you've watched that video, please do. We are so excited to get Vicky and that entire Bamboom team here on board at Pax8. We just had our first all hands where we actually got to hear from them. But please make sure that you are registering for that webcast. It is going to be on February 14th. We look forward to seeing you there. Next, limited spots available at the security boot camp. It is filling up so fast. It is based everything around Microsoft. We're going to have some select vendors that really bolt onto Microsoft really well, but those spots are super limited. I think there's only a handful left. If you're interested, please make sure that you're signing up now. And if it fills up, there is a wait list. So that way, if anybody drops out, you're the first one that we can slide right into that spot. Last, you might have heard he almost broke LinkedIn this past week. So we are super excited to welcome Rob Rae. Thanks for joining us today.
Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So Rob, you are joining us as, I have to look at this title. You know, I looked at this probably 6 times trying to write this out, but it is CVP of Community and Ecosystems. So you're day 4?
Day 4 officially, yes.
Day 4 officially. Okay, perfect. So what does CVP of Community and Ecosystems mean to you on day 4 at Pax8?
I'm trying to figure that out. We're still working on it. It just seems to be this flashy title here. But in my mind, CVP means global. I'm doing the Pax8 translate. CVP means global. Communities, of course, I envision what that looks like is engaging with, working with the managed service providers, which is what I've done pretty much my entire career. And then the ecosystems would be bringing that all together, including the actual vendors. So it's the entire community, the vendors that are in it, the service departments and companies that are in it, and of course, Pax8 and its MSPs.
Excellent. So something that we consistently do here at Pax8 is we want to know a fun fact about you, Rob. What do you have for us?
So, yes, and every meeting I get asked for a fun fact, and I hate repeating the
And they
same
want
thing
new
over
ones
and
each
over
time.
again. I know. So I'm going to give you a new one.
Okay.
I actually have been blessed with 4 daughters. They're all older now, and my youngest is 17. She's the only one that's left at home. And being a father of all girls, there's a certain point in their lives, my life, where they just don't care about you anymore. So I actually have developed quite a repertoire of dad jokes because I figure if I'm not getting any reaction out of them, at least an eye roll or something along those lines. And I'll give you an example. So my 17-year-old, actually, I let her drive my truck. I have a Dodge Ram, 2011 Dodge Ram, which I love. I let her drive it when I'm out of town, which is most of the time. She calls me up because she's got a flat tire, and she actually, it's in the middle of the night, it's raining outside, and she says to me, she can't find the jack. Now, if anybody knows a Dodge Ram, the jack is actually under the back seat. So I said, go to the back seat,
Oh
open it up.
no, here we
She
go.
finds the jack. So I said to her, this is all over text. I'm actually in a bar somewhere, I think in California. And I sent her a text and said, is there a crowbar there? And she goes, yes, I think so. And I said, fun fact, before there were crowbars, crows used to have to drink at home. Yeah. See, again, I at least get an eye roll. The text message that came back
Oh,
said,
it's great.
not now. She said,
Not
not
now.
now.
She's like, I'm going through a mental crisis right now. I don't need a
Yeah,
crowbar joke.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so,
incredible.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's going to be the top of my list for fun facts. I'm going to definitely make sure that I reuse those dad jokes. I have a group chat that every Wednesday I send my friends a corny joke. So
Nice.
I'm going to put that on my list.
Good. I've got
Okay.
quite a few if you're ever stuck.
Oh, hey, every week we might be doing dad jokes on this show. So you've got a long list of experience. So, I mean, can you just kind of talk to us about where you came from, some things that have done in the past? What do you want to share with us today?
Yeah, sure. My journey actually to the IT space started with banking. I'm born and raised in Canada, and I was got into finance really quick in my life. Wanted to be an accountant actually, and then realized very quickly that accountants didn't make as much money as I wanted to, and it was actually kind of boring. So I found my way into IT almost by accident. Started at a hardware company back in the day, Compact Computers, great hardware, which is where I found the channel. And Compact back then was a channel-only organization, and that's when I fell in love with this whole relationship of this whole ecosystem, everybody working together to try to make money. It was a little less friendly back then, but it's since become a lot more friendly. And then circa 2005, 2006, when resellers started becoming MSPs, I jumped into the MSP space with an RMM vendor, then moved over to Datto, which is a backup vendor in 2013. After 9.5 years of building that organization, I now joined Pax8 4 days ago.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? I think I don't even know if you had access into Teams, and I was already messaging you and I was like, "Hey, you want to come chat with me? It'll be great. Just come on in. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but let's do it." So, thanks for taking the bait on that one.
The most difficult part about my 4 days here at PAX, not only the PAX 8, by the way, I got to stop saying PAX. Apparently, it's supposed to say PAX 8 all the time.
Pax 8.
So, is saying the full name, but obviously, aside from learning all the acronyms that you guys use and trying to figure out the
We
business
love
here,
those.
I use Slack, not Teams. I use Gmail, not Office 365. So it's like
No.
moving over to all of these tools now. I'm trying to learn them all. So that in itself, on top of learning a job, is really difficult.
Yeah, and you know what? We like Teams and we like all the gifts and we like
Absolutely.
it's
It's
madness.
quite a
And then
platform.
before you
It's quite
know
a
it,
platform.
yeah. And then we're
Yeah.
sharing files and you don't know which one I drop files in, and I mean it's hyper communication all the time. So
Yeah.
there's so many I say everybody in this chat really likes your dad jokes. But if you guys in the chat have any questions for Rob, put them in and we can always bring them up as well. But what really brought you to PAX 8? So what really gained your interest to join us?
Yeah. That's it's interesting. I left my job on October 31st, um, thinking, I had a checklist of things that I wanted to do or places that I wanted to work. And I had a lot of opportunities. We're very fortunate being in this channel where a lot of people are growing as much as we see all these, articles about layoffs and stuff like that. And the MSP channel, we're doing vendors and MSPs are doing extremely well. So there was no shortage of opportunities, some great companies and great technologies. On my checklist, I had some very specific things, and things like I wanted an organization that was very, very MSP centric, and really genuinely interested not only in delivering a product, but actually helping the MSPs grow, helping them learn how to make more money, continue to evolve their businesses. Because back in the early days of managed services, I used to get excited when I came across like a $2 million, $3 million MSP. And these days, there's $100 million MSPs, $200 million MSPs. So, this whole growth has been amazing. And I think it's been that community effort. And I think with PAX, when I looked at PAX 8 specifically, I've known Nick Hetty and Ryan Walsh for close to a decade now. John Street is, of course, a legend in the MSP space for a couple of decades now. I think that it was kind of born into MSP and the reputation that PAX 8 has, and just the way in which it goes to market. It was a no-brainer. Really was a no-brainer.
Awesome. So when you look at, I mean, I feel like we do so many events. We've got, obviously live shows going on. We've got a lot of different things that are happening at PAX 8, but what are you most excited to either join in at PAX 8 or either bring to PAX 8?
I think it's continuing that engagement with the actual channel, and one of the things that's really exciting for me, and again, kind of part of the reason why I chose Pax8 is because of that growth worldwide. Like, expanding and seeing this managed services market continue to grow in other markets. Obviously, it's a very mature model here in the United States. Fairly mature in the western part of Europe, Australia, but now you're starting to see other regions like the Southeast Asia is trying to figure out managed services. Eastern Europe is trying to figure out managed services. So, the opportunity for all of us is just extremely massive, continues to grow, and that's probably what I'm most excited about. And what I want to do is just kind of leverage my experience and do as much as I can. And Pax8, my role at Pax8 with communities and ecosystem is literally go out there and help these MSPs grow. And, that's, again, what I'm most passionate about. So.
Awesome. No, I mean, all of that sounds super exciting. It's just funny. I hear that Canadian accent still coming out. So
Uh,
how long have you been? So you're not living in Denver. You're living up in Connecticut. Is that right?
Correct. That is correct.
But you're
So
in Denver this week.
I am in Denver this week,
Good stuff.
um, which Denver's beautiful. Cold, snows all the time, but it is beautiful here. No, Connecticut is that's where we actually started Datto because Connecticut's a hotbed for IT, and I ended up moving down there. I was actually in the process of moving to the United States. I was supposed to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, with my previous employer,
Okay.
which was an interesting conversation because my wife was looking for homes in Charlotte, and then I told her to look at Connecticut. And the prices are significantly different. So she just said no to Connecticut, but we ended up going there anyway. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love Connecticut.
Awesome. Awesome. So you're coming into Pax8, and I think one of the main things first up that you're really going to tackle is Pax8 Beyond. Is that right?
Mm. Yes.
Small
Yes.
event.
Well, yeah, I don't, you know what? It's not. So I, I, I kind of stumbled into like back 2 employers ago, Level Platforms. We did our first and last user conference and had about 500 partners, MSPs in Las Vegas. I say it was the last because we got acquired by a company that wasn't so channel friendly. So that was kind of the last event that we had. Then we moved, and I moved over to Datto, and they had a marketing manager that had just resigned, but had already signed up to do a user conference. So that user conference was in DC on September 11th. They had 0 people registered, they had 0 vendors ready to go, and about 6 weeks to pull it together. So, they kind
Six
of handed it to
weeks.
me
Oh my
6 weeks.
gosh.
So I kind of pulled it all together. I think I got about 120 MSPs to show up. And
In
then we
six
just built
weeks.
it from there. And yeah, I had to pull a lot of favors, but we grew it from there. And I'm very proud about what we were able to accomplish with that user conference. It became a go-to event, and Beyond is going to be the same. I'm going to bring that same thing over to Beyond, and I think first of all, your inaugural event, the fact that I think the goal is to have 1,000 MSPs there, which I think is very, very realistic. And I've already seen the reg numbers, and it's looking pretty strong. So I think we'll get 1,000, if not more, MSPs there for your
It's
first
early bird
event.
pricing right
That's
now. So, I mean,
pretty
sign up
good.
today.
Absolutely. And that's pretty good to have 1,000 MSPs at your first event. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. You know what? I see a question over here in the chat from Dark Web Monthly. Hey, Rob, what is Pax8's biggest challenge? And I mean, this is going to be from the view of your new role. So if you were looking at maybe Beyond, maybe looking at the whole community, what are you thinking that Pax8's biggest challenge moving forward is going to look like?
Okay, so first of all, for an organization that has grown as quickly as it has, and it's funny because when Pax8 and I started talking, and I didn't even think about coming to work for Pax8 because Pax8 just outwardly looks like one of these organizations that is fully mature and it's grown up and it's doing what it needs to do and it's got it completely dialed in. And then, so I'm like, why would you need me? Like, there's a lot of organizations that are in chaos that I can go and help. And then you kind of look under the covers a little bit, and there's a lot of things that need finesse. Let's put it that
We're
way.
all
So
running.
hyper,
We're
we're
running.
all running 1,000 miles per hour. So,
Yes.
I think there's a lot of that. But I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is Pax8 beyond product. does some phenomenal services and training and things just like this. And it doesn't get enough attention. It doesn't get enough love. It doesn't, there's not enough eyeballs on it. And it's because a lot of times, and vendors are guilty of this. They just kind of say, hey, here's 1,000 things that we do. And it's just kind of vomiting everywhere, as opposed to isolating and focusing in on, hey, this is probably important to you. Let's focus on this. So there's a whole ton of services and things beyond product sales that Pax8 does that is absolutely phenomenal. I want to nurture that. I want to grow that. I want to bring that to market so everybody's aware of that. But at the same time, grow that and accelerate that. And, let's use security and compliance as an example.
Sure.
We're all struggling trying to figure out those stories. Pax8 is in a unique position to be able to go and help partners with those things. So can we develop better systems, better programs, training, education, peer groups, meetings, whatever. So, there's still a massive opportunity for us to continue that community growth.
Sure. You're already catching on to the lingo. He's already got the peer groups. He's already got some of these things. They're already getting in there. I like it. So,
Awesome.
I mean, we're shooting for 1,000 MSPs to be at Pax8 Beyond. I mean, what is it about this event in particular that you're like, hey, you know what? This is the one that MSPs should be looking at.
Yeah. For anybody that's been to a conference that I've run, and I do own Beyond as a project here. So if I still have a job in July, that means it was successful. So let's put it that way. That's how important this is. So, one of the things, I guess, I go to a lot of trade shows. I spend a lot of time on the road, and I talk to a lot of MSPs. I talk to 10,000 MSPs every single year. And I poke around at stuff. What do you like? What don't you like? What did you see? What's missing? A lot of those things. At the same time, I also look at it from a vendor perspective. Did I get what I wanted out of it? And at the end of the day, did we have fun doing it? And I take kind of all those experiences. I'm pretty particular when it comes to this because, I kind of walk through every second of every day in the life of an MSP through this conference. I'll walk through every second of every day as a vendor at this conference, as a staff member at this conference, and just go and execute so that we can get as much education, quality, detail, as people are walking away with a million ideas, a million things to go and do. So that they want to come back. That's the key, is that we want to create something where you want to come back every single year. And if I just do some fluff event where you're going to show up, give you a couple beers, and then send you home, that's not going to work. There needs to be guts to it. There needs to be real high level quality to it.
Agree.
And I'm very, very excited about this one because Pax8's investing a lot into this, and they're very serious about it. So.
What's funny is Reddit was blowing up when, everything was announced. Rob Rae comes to Pax8 and all of this. And I kept seeing this one person comment over and over, can't wait to grab a beer with Rob at the bar. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I like him.
Yeah, it's I guess another fun fact of mine. Maybe it's my Canadian heritage. I have the ability to drink massive amounts of alcohol and never get drunk. So it's a lot of times that's where, I also have really bad FOMO. So I always have to be the last person out of the room turning the lights
Oh
off. So
no, you have
that's where
FOMO
that comes
too? We
from.
can't hang
Yeah.
out, Rob. I got FOMO.
Yeah.
You're going to have FOMO. It's going to be too much.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough for me. But it does give me the ability to engage with a lot of people over the course of a lot of time.
Yeah.
And, that's where you get to know people. And it's one of the things I love about this industry is that getting to know the people. Sure, there's technology in there, there's MRR conversations, there's all this stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there's so many characters in this space. And I
Sure.
love them all. And I love them all dearly. So it's fun. It's fun. I love my job.
That is awesome. So, sometimes we hear that some partners, they're under the impression that they might not get the full value out of some of these events. What do you think? Like, who in particular should attend Beyond? Who's going to benefit from this out of our partner base?
So I come at it from a couple different angles because when you look at an MSP's business, there's a number of factors that are in there. And, I've learned this over the years as the MSP market has grown. The needs for each individual within that managed service provider is different. The business owner is going to come in and is going to want to see like strategy and roadmap and vision and where things are going. So we have to design content, not just around what we are doing, but content that can help them as business owners. So creating a track for those particular individuals. I think obviously we're in the tech industry, so having a technical track where we've got some, where the techs can come in there and feel comfortable that they're getting enough guts to it. So that they learn something there. I think that's super important. And then, of course, one of the biggest weaknesses that we know in this space is sales and marketing. So I'm a big fan of creating some type of sales and marketing track in there as well, so that you can bring those individuals that are responsible for growing your business, and then doing individual pieces within there that can actually help that individual as well. So I think it's almost like customization of
Sure.
whatever your needs are. We're going to try to match that through these individual tracks, regardless of what you do within that organization.
And we looked through the agenda, and it's funny, we had a lot of partners signed up before the agenda even came out, Rob. And I was like, man, when are we going to get the agenda? What's going on? What events are there going to be? What is it laid out like? And what's funny is we've got a comment from Scott Chasen. He's got a request for Beyond. Super important, Rob. And he wants to know if you can get Daft Punk to be the entertainment.
I'll take a look. I'll let you know.
Perfect. TBD.
Well, see, here's the other thing, and actually Scott brings up a good point. A lot of organizations, generally when they're planning a conference like this, it's usually the marketing organization that's doing it. And generally the marketing organization, they're younger individuals. Younger individuals are not the audience that's coming to a conference such as this. It's the typical managed service provider. So we have our quirks. For example, the after party is a perfect example. A lot of us are introverts, very much so. So we want to go to these things. We want to go to the party, but don't put me in a room with a bar in the middle of it and then ask me to socialize with a million people. It's not my forte. It's not what I'm good at. So we always include something that you can do on your own, like games or something like video games, stuff like that. It's also like we have to remember we're in the tech industry, so we also want to nerd out a little bit too. So
I like that.
absolutely. So, when you look at kind of the selections that I make, and Scott's a perfect example of this, I try to find people that are kind of relevant for our genre, age group, kind of niche that we have in IT, as opposed to, trying to find something that a 25-year-old marketing person would like. So, I'm very, very
That makes
succinct on that.
sense.
Yeah.
I'll bring my own Nintendo 64, and on the side over here, I'll hook that up to a random television and we'll play Mario
Mhm.
Kart because,
Mhm.
we'll try to, I think that spans over a lot of generations.
Yeah, we've done that because we do big LED screens because
Yeah.
again, we're in the tech industry, like we geek out over things
Bright
like
and
that.
flashy. Like, come on.
Right. And then we hook up like a Xbox to it or something so people can play on like an 80-foot screen. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
That is awesome. So, I look through all of the breakout sessions that we have. And if I'm a partner, I'm looking at these. A lot of them are during the same time slot. So there's 4 per time slot. If I'm a partner, how do I prioritize what is most important?
It's a good one, and it's probably probably a difficult one. So going through the agenda ahead of time and figuring out what it is that you want to go to, and a lot of conferences will focus you on one track, and you have to stay in that track. I like the getting people to actually be able to pick and choose where they want. So you can, I want to go to this tech track session. I want to go to this sales and marketing session. I think those are some of the ideas that I'm playing around with and some of the things that we'll do. So hopefully if you'd miss something, you'd just at least have an opportunity to go back and look at it later.
No, and I think that's great because I look through some of these sessions and I pick out a few of them, right? I'm like, okay, there's tech for social impact. Obviously, I'm Microsoft, so I get really excited about that.
Of course.
And we look at improve and strengthen your current security posture. We talked a little bit about how just security is continuing to change. What specific session, or maybe 1 or 2, are you just like, hey, you know what? You don't want to miss this one?
As much as I've been in the tech industry as long as I have, I know nothing about technology. I can barely turn my laptop on properly. I get more excited about the sales and marketing stuff. I really do. It's just kind of a passion of mine. Being able to take something that seems so complicated and make it easy is kind of where I am. There's a lot of conversations around M&A these days, but it's a little bit overdone. at a lot of these conferences. So I'm trying to find a unique and interesting way that we can have an M&A type conversation, whether you're interested in selling or interested in buying and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to figure that out. The one thing actually I'll put it out there. It's not on the agenda yet, but because I'm going to say it
Ooh,
here and I'm going
sneak
to say it
peek.
publicly, he's not going to have a choice. But Scott Chasen brags about how much technical knowledge he actually has. So I love trying to find like these really
Ooh.
uber smart guys and putting them on stage and playing a little stump the CTO kind of game there. So I think we can do that. I think I can probably talk Scott into it. And then what we do is just get any rando tech question. If Scott can't answer it, you win money, that kind of thing. Usually those
You
things like a
win
little more
money if you
fun.
can stump Scott Chase. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
I like it a lot too.
All right.
And
All
because
right.
I
I
said
mean,
it here, he doesn't
we
have a
said it
choice now.
live. We said it live. Oh, he's laughing. I'm going to take that ha ha ha. And that chat is a he's in.
Yeah, I would bet that he's in.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, we're aiming for that 1,000 partners. It's going to be in Denver. We expect you to be at a lot of other events. I know you're only 4 days in, but when
Hmm.
you look at overall for Beyond, do you think that one, we're going to continue to repeat this, but do you think that it's going to be just like that main stage session every single year for us that everything's going to revolve around?
I think it's an opportunity that main stage piece is an opportunity to bring the entire community into one room and get a message or get the path, the feeling, the really kind of understand. Look, MSPs invest a lot into their vendors, and they are making choices on the vendors that they utilize on behalf of all the businesses that they support. It's critical that you choose the right partner, and you know what, that's our job to reinforce that and show them that they have chosen the right partner that is invested in this, that is going to continue to grow, that has their best interest in mind. And I think it's super important that we do get that out. And then this is a phenomenal opportunity for us to do it in front of everybody, because you can't pull it back once you've said it live in front of 1,000 people.
Scott
So
Chasen, you
that's
can't pull it back.
so that's where I think that having everybody in that one room for that one message is going to be critical, and then we can go off and do all the other things.
Awesome. Hey, you know what? I'm going to put everybody on the back end of this technically unraveled session. Can we pull up the agenda? I know that Dark Web Monthly was asking if we could see it. Is there a way that we can pull it up? I know we put it in the chat, but I see some people scrambling around. I
Give
think
me
it would
one hot
be really
second. Give me
cool.
one hot
Yeah,
second. Yeah, give
Rob.
me one second.
While he's doing that, I
I like
will
the
tell you,
thermometer.
I personally haven't had a chance to go through the agenda yet. By no means is it firmed up. There might be some changes. If you
Okay.
see something missing, let us know, because I'd love to be able to turn around and adapt some of this. And I know we still have some spots to fill.
No, I think that's great. And I mean, guys, if you see something that's missing, you want to put something, you're saying, hey, you know what, this is really important to us as MSPs, put it in the comments. We're happy to make sure that, one, we're going to share this with Rob, make sure that anything that you guys are saying in this chat, but like he said, it's not completely firm yet. So I think that's exciting. I do have one more question while they're getting that agenda up. Rob, did you spot any holes in Pax8 community strategy that you can fill and get big, quick results?
You're going to get me in trouble here. You're going to get me in trouble.
No, I'm not. This is positive energy 347.
Have I seen any holes in their channel strategy? I don't think it's holes. Holes is not the right word. I think the right word is there a more effective way of delivering that message? So,
Sure.
I obviously, as I attend a lot of trade shows, the same events that PAX also attends. So, I've watched our presentations. I've watched them before, and yeah, I guess there's a little bit of finesse, I guess, that can come to it. And
Sure.
we're growing so quickly, we're doing so many different things, and it's just
We've
hard to
expanded
keep.
so quickly.
And it's really, really hard to kind of keep that up. Like, for example, there's an exchange event coming up in Orlando, which I will be at if anybody's going to be there. It's the first week of March. And, with the Bamboon acquisition, we're going to talk about dynamics. But we also have 15 boardrooms where we're going to be talking about probably something else, maybe even 15 different types of things. So it's just too many
Awesome.
things. We just got to pull it all together and try to figure out a way that somebody can fully utilize what they're paying for with Pax8 properly.
I like it. I like it. All right. It sounds like they have the agenda up that they're going to be able to show us. Thanks for Rob. You guys are great on this back end over here. So if you go to Pax8 Beyond, there is obviously all of these sessions available. Oh, they've got the little light beam and everything. Here we go. Oh, are we scrolling? Maybe. Oh, look at us scrolling. Cool, cool. So this is still up for debate, Rob. That's what you're saying.
It's we're going to be fine tuning it, and again, I'm looking for
I like
feedback
it.
from the actual MSPs on what's missing here. Like, what are the hot topics that we're missing? I like to think I've got
Excellent.
a pulse on everything that's going on, but maybe there's something that's keeping you up at night. So, we'll go through this and fine tune it. So I'm just it's really good. It's somewhat baked. I'm just putting a little asterisk around it to say some things may change.
Hey, no, I think that's great because I mean, when I look at this, you've got M&A for MSPs, you've got the four levers of gross margin. I think that there's a lot of things that, you know, partners are going to really be excited about. So I know I'm excited. I know our Microsoft team will be in town. Scott Chasen, can we get technically Unraveled broadcast live from Beyond? I mean, I'll be there. Rob, can I put you on the spot again? We should do this live.
I would love
actually
to.
had this
Let's see
conversation
what's up.
with.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure which Rob.
Oh, Rob and Rob, guys.
Sorry, that got
We
confusing.
didn't think about that. It did. It did. Rob
Rob and I had
Rob.
this conversation before we went live here, so it's definitely doable.
Oh,
I think it would be awesome if we did.
I think that would be pretty cool. All right, Rob, everybody, thanks for joining me today. I have had a ton of fun. Thanks for saying, hey, you know what, day 4, I'm just going to dive on in. And obviously, I look forward to meeting you in person. And I think Beyond is going to be really, really great. So make sure if you have not signed up, don't miss that early bird pricing. It's still the end of March. Rob, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Just always enjoy doing this. Always enjoy speaking with MSPs, and always learn something from this.
Good stuff. Well, we look forward to having you back soon. Everybody out there, thanks so much for putting all your questions in the chat. As you heard, Rob said that we're still fine tuning some of this agenda. So if you want to see anything that might not be on this agenda, or if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll make sure that we compile all of those and we get them over to Mr. Rob Rae, who just joined us. But please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, do all of those things. Next week, we have Ryan Walsh. He's going to be just coming on. We're super excited to talk to him. He is our Chief Strategy Officer. He is going to come and talk about all things Pax8 with us. Please make sure that you like, subscribe. We will see you next week at 2 p.m. Bye, everybody.